Alright, welcome back. We have finished our trek through the Crystal Desert, so now back to the main storyline here with the Shining Blade versus the White Mantle, with the Ice Caves of Sorrow. So I mentioned this at the end of Dragon's Lair's video, but I'm going to mention it again here in case you went straight here. If you do not have an armor set that is infused, so you can see that infused word underneath my armor, that means you're going to get shredded by the Mursat that are in this map. If you are not comfortable with dealing with that, if you're like a Doom's Covenant character, Iron Mines of Mauldun's the place you're going to need to go, is probably the best spot. Although there is a slight chance you run into Mursat there if you go the wrong direction. Otherwise, the only surefire way to avoid Mursat is you have to go into this far corner here out in Mineral Springs. So, make your choices. I'll be trying to show you how to duck them, but since I'm not really threatened by the Mursat, I'm not really going to worry about dealing with them. So, terms of build, not much has changed from Dragon's Lair. I'm running a fire set here because, well, we're in the snow area, so a lot of enemies are vulnerable to fire damage. But let's get rolling. So, there's the Mursat right there. So those dudes, they will absolutely annihilate you if you do not have infused armor. So, let them pass by. They might attack the Ice Imps. Once they've passed along, you can move forward. The other option is you can find somebody else who's infused and have them run you through the Mursat sections. That is also a valid choice. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye out and see if there's any Mursat that try to creep around. So now we are going to be dealing with the Advanced Stone Summit. Most annoying ones for me personally are the Heretics. They come with Crippling Anguish, which slows you like crazy and prevents you from attacking. Actually, I guess we kind of ran into that a lot, didn't we? Because we did hard mode. Yeah, we did run in... Never mind. It's pretty much the same as the Stone Summit from earlier. It's just now we'll run into larger groups of them, since we're in a harder zone. And if you're in normal mode, you can no longer duck their stronger skills. But anyways, we're sneaking around this area with the trebuchets. So currently the Stone Summit and the White Mantle are having a little bit of a siege war over there. And you can see there's a lot of barraging happening across the bridge, so running across that will kill you. And just like with previous sieges, you take out the Stone Summit Engineers, you get a morale boost for your effort, and it also clears what they were shooting at, which in this case was that first area that we walked around. So it doesn't really do much in terms of advancing, but hey, it's a morale boost. Okay, this ice here doesn't freeze you. We'll run into that with Iron Mines, I'm sure. Our actual target is the area up here. This engineer is our top target right now. We have a Dolyak Master, but we also have somebody who's specialized in taking out enchantments. So shouldn't need to worry about the newly buffed Mark. Oof. Those hit me from there. That's nasty. I didn't know they could do that. But anyway, what you can do is, once you've taken out the Stone Summit Engineer, if you want to clear out this section rather than risk your life running through it, just pull the lever. And what that does is it clears out all of the ballistas that were firing there, and you can just easily run across now. And if you're quick enough, you can see the Doliacs start to spook themselves as if we were actually watching the cutscene, and then they run through. So if you're wondering how the Ballistae were taken out, this is how. The Doliacs just ran through into the rocks and out of our lives. But anyways, up above, there's these Jade Armor enemies. Those are basically the martial weapon versions of Mursat. So that's the Warriors and Rangers. So again, you do not want to deal with those if you're not infused. If you're going for the bonus, or you want to just save some time, that is actually the fastest way to run in. But since I'm trying to show the non-infused version of this mission as best I can, we are going to be on our way. There will be some Mursat we have to fight, do not worry. The bonus does require fighting off some Mursat, so if you are not infused, you're going to have to give up on the bonus for this mission. Which I probably should have mentioned before we started, but whatever. At least we mentioned it 6.5 minutes in instead. Alright, so send them up there to go deal with that mob. So again, we have to deal with Dwarven Powder Kegs from Boreless Pass and Frostgate to bust down some of these gates. Again, this is a nice place to have multiple people. I think you need a total of, I want to say, 4 powder kegs. So it'd be really nice if I could just, again, flag my heroes to go pick up 4 kegs for me. But anyways, we're going to run through this cave here. Again, make sure you're able to look for where enemies are, because there are some Mursat in here. Make sure you do not mess with those Mursat. Unless you're infused, then feel free to go after them, which you will see that shortly when I start the bonus up. But for now, I'm going to show you how you progress to the next part without dealing with Mursat. Because this cave is actually where the bonus will begin. Or rather, an alternative exit is where the bonus begins. But yeah, you run out to the northeast corner here. And then you can make your way out to where the next section of this mission is. So again, Jade Armors, very dangerous. They are basically, the armors are the warrior version of Mursat. Jade Bows are the ranger version. If you're infused, they're not as big of a threat. They're just annoying to builds like mine. But if you are continuing the mission proper... Is that a Visha? Nice. You head through this cave here, and that's where the mission continues. But we are not doing that. Instead, I'm going to flag my heroes there to deal with the Jade Armors, while Master Whispers escorts me this way. Oh, don't tell me you idiots are fighting. Okay, good. It's like, I swear, if you morons aren't fighting. Yeah, we're going to have them clear a section ahead of time while we go back and do multiple runs back and forth with all the kegs. This is why this mission can be tedious at times. It's a lot faster when you actually have other players with you. Actually, now that I think about it, you need a total of 5 kegs. Yeah, I was like, where is my speed boost, Master of Whispers? You need to shout, not whisper. I'm going to flag them back to me now. And in order to keep them entertained, because I'm going to go need to get another keg after this. Actually, no. I want them with me. So the reason I ran and got another keg is because for the bonus, you have to head in this direction. And you have to go clear out the gate this over here. So there's Spectral Agony right now. That's that 9 damage I'm taking. When you're fully infused, you can laugh it off, but it does literally... It's 10 times more effective if you are not infused. And then its effectiveness is reduced for each piece of infused armor you have. I'm actually going to look up Spectral Agony real quick so I can give you the specifics. Why you wouldn't have a full infused armor set, I don't know. But yeah, if you have 0 infused pieces, it's minus 30 health degeneration, 81 health per second is how much damage you lose. So just one of them is virtually enough to kill you outright. I would survive it with 14 health right now. And that's with a 10% morale boost to my health. Are they losing? Seriously? Okay. If you have 1 armor piece, it's 13 health degeneration and 42 health loss, so a lot more manageable. Then it's 9 and 29 at 2, 7 and 22 for 3, 5 and 16 for 4, and then 3 and 9 if you have all 5 pieces. At that point, you summon Exodia and you win the duel. As for why it's minus 30, it's because the minimum it can be is, or the maximum health degeneration you can have is minus 10, and they are making extra sure that they knock you down. They are not letting you heal through that. You try to overcome it with protection prayers, the health degeneration sinks you. And if you can somehow pull off plus 30 health regeneration, I don't know how you do it, but if you pull it off, the health loss will nail you instead. And the particular nasty thing about the Jade Armors and Bows is they don't actually cast Spectral Agony. It is just applied to you. But anyways, time for the bonus. We've got our old friend Rornak Stone Sledge here. And we have to break him out of jail, so this is where we drop keg number 3. You talk to him, and he'll talk about how we got caught again. And all we need to do is we just need to talk to Hamdor Grandaxe. So we'll keep an eye out for him. Anyway, since I'm right here real quick, I'll mention it. The area down the path where these Mersad are, you can see those armors and all those white mantle. That was the other side of that door I mentioned before. So you can just quickly run into the cave and have shorter running routes between the powder keg stations. Alright, so we've got Mersat here again, so keep an eye out. If I'm going to run into Mersat, this is the place where it's going to happen. So we're going to break out to the left here, fight this white mantle group. Because I don't actually 100% remember how to sidestep all of the Mersat. Because I generally just run straight at them because I just don't care. So there is Avenia and Xandra. And now we need to break them out of prison. We're doing a full-on jailbreak here. But yeah, so right there, ducked all the Mersat. Just want to kill this one white mantle group here. Oof, empathy. That's nasty. Yeah, this is a nasty group. A lot of sycophants and a lot of savants. Probably should have seen if I could split them, but too late now. So now we have to pick up Powder Keg number 4. With this one, we can break... I want to test this real quick. I don't remember if this is a thing or not. So I'm going to try this. This is where you're going to need to go next anyways. So I'm going to see if it just lets me break it now. Or if I have to wait. Okay, cool. So you can do that. Especially if you're carrying 2 kegs, drop that one first and let it blow up before you free Avenia and Xandra. Because as soon as you free them, I believe it hits the cutscene. And I don't know if the powder keg will respect everything afterward. But here we go. Keg number 5. There we go. We skip. Xandra drags all the Mersat away, and Avenia follows us out here. Oh, hey, it's Hamdor Grandax. What was that thing we needed to do with him again? I forget. But anyways, there's also a bunch of red dots full of Mersat Elementalists. The intention here is they are trying to make you run forward and deal with all of the mobs while the Mersat are chasing you. However, who says we have to deal with them? So they're all going to come out in waves of 6. So there's a total of 12 of them out there. And we are actually just going to chill here. Go ahead and play some sick air guitar while we wait. I'm sure he's playing Enter Sandman. And you can just let the Mersat pass by. They are actually hostile. Oh, Master of Whispers is getting into it over there. Razah's doing his best Napoleon Dynamite impression. We have Gwen on the flute. Xandra's also on... I guess I'm going to put her on bass. Norgu's on a violin. Don't know how that happened. But anyways, we just let the Mersat pass by. And now we'll go claim the bonus. There we go. You talk to him, and that's the bonus done. Anything else I need to identify? Nope. I wonder how my lucky title's doing. 1.1. So I'm sure at this point you're thinking, well, aren't you going to be screwed once they get to the end of the line? And you're not wrong about that. Also, side note, be very careful when following behind the Mersat. If you have any, say, Minion masters who are heroes, they can keep a close eye on them, because there is a very good chance they'll just summon a Bone Fiend that happens to be within range of the Murslot. So just make sure they're completely gone before you go forward. So the saving grace, they're splitting up here for one thing. And second, they're going directly through all of these siege weapons that happen to be bombarding these locations. So, in normal mode, for sure, these barrages will take care of the Murslot for you. However, in hard mode, that's not always guaranteed. However, if you're doing this in hard mode and you're not infused, I'm questioning some of your choices, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, if I can get to some of the Murslot, you can see they took some heavy damage there. Wasn't quite enough to kill, but in normal mode, it does get to be enough to kill. See if we can catch a ranger taking damage from a spectral agony. Also, you cannot run out to any of these spiring levers and try to deal with the engineers and free yourself up. It doesn't work like that. But yeah, following behind does make this mission take a little bit longer. I've actually never tried bull rushing ahead of them. One, because I always do the bonus. And two, just never been interested in doing it. There we go. They're starting to get nailed. See if this takes out some of them. One more shot. Oh, we got one of them. We're not going to get any of these, I don't think. Oh! Well, so if that happens, run. As long as you're quick enough, they don't chase. Although, it did get them a little bit lower. I would say calculated, but I really did not. I am trying to keep to my promise of showing it without Murslot fights, except for the bonus, because as you saw, it's literally unavoidable when it comes to the bonus. Did Murslot stop here now? I don't remember them doing that. Well, if this is a new change, I'll have to deal with it. I'll let the siege do its job quickly. See how many of them it takes out. I don't think it's going to get much more. So, let's range you. Okay, do you guys not want the smoke? There we go. So the nice thing about them is they are split into very, very small patrols. Yeah, it looks like from here you do have to fight them off, so... Oh, took out a lot more of them, actually. I always remembered them running up to here and getting murked. Which is true for several of them, but not for enough of them. Also, as a side note, Note how it doesn't mention that heroes are infused. I believe they are automatically infused. I'm trying to remember if they're auto-infused or they are only infused if you are. It was one or the other. But that is also a potential option, is you just get your death penalty murked up to death. And then you just let your heroes deal with all the Mersat. But anyways, once you're over this final hill here, there's a single stone summit boss stopping you. All you need to do is just get onto the boat and you win. $321 gold, that's crazy. But with that, Ice Caves of Sorrow is completed. So now we take this ice ship up the river, and don't ask me how this happens, but somehow we start from here, inexplicably cross over the water here, don't know how that happens. We then sail up here through the completely shallow, walkable river here, up this way, somehow get through this little crack here all the way around, and there's our ice ship. And just like that, we are at our next mission, the Iron Mines of Mauladun, where we will get to our ascension, and we will be able to make our way through or sorry, not our ascension, our infusion, and be able to actually properly fight against the Mersat. So, again, hope these have been helpful, and we'll see you for the next one.